Okay, after filming this, I realized some of them weren't indie games, and actually most of them weren't from indie games, but just go with it for the video. What if Smash Bros was made with indie characters? Think Framemakers, but more characters and in 3D/2.5D. What would the roster be? Welcome to part 1 for a concept about indie game Smash Bros, where we go over the roster. The way you would unlock characters would be that you have 8 starters and winning battles gives you coins. Coins allow you to buy other fighters for a decently cheap price that come with costumes. However, you can play free play/local multiplayer and use all the fighters, but when playing online, you can only choose from the ones that you have. Without further ado, let's begin. Quick note, all these characters we have to be translated to 3D, so keep that in mind. First up, we have none other than Hollow Knight, one of our 8 starters who is primarily a melee attacker with some pretty good recovery. It would be easy to use for beginners and have some advanced techniques, like using the Crystal Heart, Special, or Mantis Claw. I don't have any costume ideas, but for final move he could turn into a cocoon like he does in the final battle, and break out and there could be like a massive explosion. I don't know, something cool like that. Second up, we have Hornet from Hollow Knight, a friend and enemy of him, as well as our other Hollow Knight representative. You could have some cool dash attacks with their needle and be able to have some fun combo potential. For costumes, we could just change the color of the dress or just wait until Silksong comes out. I'm waiting for Hollow Knight Silksong information before figuring out her final move. Our third starter is the main character from Punch-a-Bunch. Punch-a-Bunch is a game about physics boxing that recently came out, and it's really fun. If you could fight with him in more of a 2D environment, you could be like Little Mac with better recovery and more weight. You could dodge, block, and deal heavy blows to opponents. For a final move, you could summon the final boss from Punch-a-Bunch to punch the other opponents on the stage. No spoilers. There are many good costumes that he could have, like face masks that people wear, astronaut, Viking, old man, and sumo guy. A long-awaited game, Pinni and the Lost Voice, has a pretty interesting protagonist. For our 4th starter, Pinni is a dog that uses her barks to punch and do melee combat in a really cool art style. Translating Pinni to 3D might be hard, but her gimmick could be that she is the only one in 2D. I don't know, that'd be kind of cool. Final move could be a massive version of Pinni that she barks out. It could be like an orange or whatever that you can control for a few seconds. I don't have any costume ideas, but I guess they could just have different breeds of dogs. Madeline from Celeste is a hard one to balance. Celeste is all about dashing, so we would have to tone down some damage and have some insane recovery and speed for Madeline. Even though in the game Celeste, Madeline is made of pixel art, you could translate her to 3D like how Duck Hunt used to be made of pixel art and now he's 3D in Smash Bros. This could be another beginner starter. I don't have any good costume or final attack ideas, so let me know in the comments. The myth, the legend, the Milkman himself. Created by Donnie, KARLSON has gone in many forms, so we're just gonna combine them all. For the starter, you have a pretty normal moveset, unlike the game Milkman KARLSON, where he's, walking all crazy and stuff. And you have a gun and charge jumps, so decent recovery. Physics for his hits will be pretty funny, and he can even shoot a gun like he does in Milkman KARLSON, and KARLSON on the Rooftops, aka KARLSON 2D. He really is a jack of all trades. For his final move, he will flood the stage with milk and kill almost everyone, and heal himself in the process because, milk kills KARLSON. For costumes, he can have the red suit, plain blue skin, and of course, the Gucci banana. Billy. Do I need to say more? Billy will be a small fighter like Kirby or Jigglypuff, but have medium weight and normal move speed and some fun attacks, like leg kicks and other attacks that could involve guns or gravity or something. His costumes will be different emotions, and his final attack could be becoming Willy, one of the bosses from KARLSON from a devlog from almost 2 years ago now, and being able to be controlled for a period of time. like shooting missiles and stuff. Pretty cool. You probably have no idea what Burg is, and I didn't either for a while. Created by Bargy, Burg is a hide-and-seek style tag game, kind of like Manhunt. This character also appears in a spin-off game by Bargy, Bargy Kart. He could use bananas to fight and has little recovery but insane speed because, you know, in the game, Burg, he's trying to catch people. His final attack allows him to teleport right behind others and randomly catch them, kind of like an Enderman. If you have any costume ideas, tell me in the comments because I really don't have any. The unreleased game Arcadian Rift looks like a really fun game, even though there's no protagonist model and no protagonist name. This fighter would use guns, as he does in the game. In the game Arcadian Rift, there are mini guns which you can switch through using a down special, kind of like a Pokemon trainer can switch through Pokemon. You can use long range guns or short range guns, even a gun that helps you recover. I don't have any costume ideas because, you know, there really are none right now. But for his final attack, he can summon all the enemies from Arcadian Rift, which there are a lot and they're all really cool. Adding a goose seems like a really stupid idea, but hear me out. Give him a bat. In Untitled Geese game, he can bonk others and steal their stuff, and it's honestly a really fun game. Some other attacks can include honking at them, or like, you know, picking them up or taking stuff off of them. So like if they have an item or something, he can just like take it from them. I don't have any final attack ideas because, you know, it's a goose, but for costumes, he could wear like a suit or glasses or maybe even be a duck. I picture the Fall Guy as a very fun character to play as with some fun attacks. I just said fun twice, that's fun. He could have his goofy walk and dive, and he could use things from different mini games to fight. His up special could be summoning the hexagons from hexagons to hop on to recover, and his left special could be swiping his tail from tail tag. He could even summon something that people could bounce off of, like those little poles from all those games. There are many costumes in Fall Guys, so just pick out some fan favorites. For his final move, he could turn the stage into a mini game level for about 20 seconds that is filled with Fall Guys like rushing through, dealing damage while he watches from the side, because yay, he qualified or something. Another indie game, Slime Rancher, had me choosing between either the Rancher or the Slime, so I chose the Slime. This one is another stupid one that has lots of costume potential. This slime could create more of himself to fight, like cloning himself, and be able to change between a few different types of slimes. His final attack could fill the stage with slimes, and he could be like, you know, one of them, but the other ones could like be destroyed. Oh, something cool like that. Yeah. I cannot name one person that doesn't like Stray. A moveset for a cat would be very fun to play as because you could like scratch people, have really high jumps, good recovery because cats always land on their feet, fast mobility but bad resistance because it's a cat, it's a very small animal. Costumes could include different breeds of cats like a tabby cat or other cats. I don't know, I'm not an expert in cat breeds. And I have no idea for final attack because I did not play the game. It's him, Super Meat Boy. He'd be able to run around, have melee attacks, and be able to have others bounce off him because, like, I don't know, he looks kind of squishy. I haven't really played Super Meat Boys. Let me know about his costumes and final attack that you would like to see in the comments below. Okay, I know, My Singing Monsters is really an indie game, but it's fun to include some characters from it because they have some cool move sets. Besides, there's already a 3D adaptation in most of them, including Mammot. Maybe we should rework that, because, you know, his adaptation is kind of weird. You could use lots of sounds for his attacks, because, like, you know, they have that call you see him. I think I pronounced that right. And My Singing Monsters already. He has some crazy moves, because, you know, Mammot's a funny guy, and be fun and started to play as. For costumes, you know, you already got his rare and epic form, and he also has a ton of other costumes in My Singing Monsters. His final attack could be using his voice to create like massive sound waves like he does in the Call You Sing 'em or something. Our second My Singing Monsters rep, Noggin, could have some Wario style movements. I picture him using the sounds from his head for some attacks and his hands for others because he has massive hands and feet he could use for some crazy things. Same thing with Mammot, he's got the rare and epic costumes, and he's also got the other costumes. His final attack could be summoning a Carester or something. I don't know, those guys are kind of cool. If you have any ideas, just tell me in the comments. If you have Mammot and Noggin, you have to have our third MSM rep, ToeJammer. ToeJammer would be able to slide across the stage / battlefield, could stick to players and damage them. Could spin really fast, use his toes to damage them, as in the name, ToeJammer. Just like the other two, ToeJammer has costumes and My Singing Monsters as well as his rare and epic forearms. For his final attack, he could spread out across the stage and basically turn into water that damages you. Like that one enemy from Super Mario 3D World. I don't know if you guys get the reference, tell me. You thought ToeJammer was our last My Singing Monsters rep, but no, it's WUBBOX. This is one of the two giants in the game, like how Iron Giant is, but like picture Iron Giant, but like, wow, WUBBOX sound here or something. He can pound his fist, use his orb to hit you, and slam down on the stage. He's incredibly slow, but has insanely high durability. For his costumes, he's got the rare costume as well as all of his epic costumes. His final attack would wake up the Wubblins. It would electrify the stage and all attack using music at once. While High on Life might not be the most kid-friendly game or an indie game at all, we can always have settings for the voice lines. The High on Life character would be able to switch between a few guns, which are all custom voice lines as they do in the game. He would have average speed and slightly worse recovery because it would make up for all the artillery he carries. I have no good ideas for costumes or final attacks, so let me know in the comments what you think. If you think this guy is too much like the Arcadian Rift guy, think again because his recovery is worse and his guns are cooler. Slugcat is the main character of a game called Rainworld. Rainworld is a procedurally animated pixel art style game, which has some insane ecosystems. Slugcat's main moves could use his spear he has, and other specials could summon those lizards from the game and have a super jump using his spear. For costumes, there could be different colors like in Rainworld, Downpour, and his final attack could summon the giant sea monster to swallow part of the stage and all the opponents with it. Snake from Snake Pass, but more specifically Snake and Bird from Snake Pass, is our first and only planned duo team in the game. They're a lot like Duck Hunt or Banjo-Kazooie, but have insane recovery because in the game the bird can literally pick up the snake. I don't know how it's possible. Snake and choke fighters, and the bird could use melee attacks. For costumes, they could do different kinds of snakes and birds, kind of like most of the costumes from Smash Bros. And the final attack can make the snake really big and like eat stuff on the stage, because like snakes don't really have a jaw. They can like unhinge it and stuff. One of, if not the most popular character on this list, Shovel Knight, would have some interesting moves. He could dig players into the ground, place blocks to recover, kinda like Minecraft Steve, and he could throw a shovel at others. His costumes could include different colors of armor and shovels. His final attack would change the whole stage into a cave, and Shovel Knight can mine through it and like hit players along the way. For the knight from Castle Crashers, you would use one of the 4 knights, which are just different costumes of each other, to perform different moves. Some moves could include the light and heavy attacks using magic or using an item like a bow. This could be like the young Link / Link of our game, because he's like got the bows and the swords and stuff. For the final attack, you get to play as all 4 knights at once. Our first and only, I cannot stress this enough, only horror game rep, Bendy would probably be one of the most fun characters to play as. Bendy could turn into ink and move through the ground, kind of like the Splatoon girl, or yes, Inkling. His Special moves could temporarily turn him into the scary version, like the raw version of Bendy. He could launch ink to damage other players. I don't have any other costume ideas except using Boris. The final attack could create a big ink version of himself on the screen, kind of like, I think it's Bowser Jr.'s, that creates the big X on the screen that if you touch it you get damage. Basically that, but in Bendy shape. This fighter's from a Joseph P. YouTube video where he played random free Steam games. This guy is literally just a scuffed Wii trainer. He can jump insanely high and go really fast, but is very easily damaged. He could drive a car like how Wario has his motorcycle, and his final move would summon Fran. His costumes would be just different outfits because he's literally just a normal guy who's on a search for Fran. One of the biggest game genres out there right now is Backrooms games. The specific game I'm taking this guy from is Escape the Backrooms, which you should check out right now. I think the guy's name is Fancy, who has all the devlogs and stuff. His attacks would primarily be melee, but you could like summon different Backrooms monsters. And his costumes could be different suit colors, because you know that's basically what they do for every single other fighter in Smash Bros. Final attack is a hard one, but you could like target one of the players, and like I know how some fighters have like a short cutscene or like an Injustice cutscene of like them falling into the back rooms and just getting beat up by like all the monsters. Yeah, something cool like that. Pogo Frog is an unreleased game by Bargy where you race around on pogo sticks as frogs. Pretty cool game idea. Pogo Frog could bounce around and do flips and be able to bounce on air only one time for recovery, like a double jump. It could be like Bowser Jr. and like hop off the pogo stick and launch at somebody and it would like explode and he could hop back on. Costumes would be his original skin and then other colors of shorts. His original skin, if you don't know it, go watch the devlogs, it's really funny. I don't really have an idea of what his final attack could be, but it really should involve his pogo stick because that's literally his character. Our third Downy rep and our second giant is Big Chunk from Muck. Big Chunk would slowly move and have pretty bad recovery but high damage and high resistance. He could throw rocks, swing his club, and summon mini Big Chunks. Mini Big Chunks, that is a big oxymoron right there. His costumes could be different kinds of rocks, like limestone, diamonds. His final attack would be maybe to charge up with like a power stone or something cool like that. Stardew Valley is basically just villager, but he does a ton of farming stuff and there's like just a ton of costumes for it. Our first BTD6 rep, Dart Monkey would have some interesting attacks. He'd mostly be a longer range attacker, can like throw darts, use a crossbow, and be able to use a catapult for some of his attacks. His costumes would be different shirts or something. His final attack would turn him into a crossbow master that you could play as for a limited period of time. Our other BTD6 rep, Super Monkey, is probably going to be a really hard one to balance since he's like a god. He could shoot lasers, generate temporary robo arms, and throw batarangs, or monkey rangs, or something. I don't know what they call them. His costumes could be different variations of his suit. However, his final attack would summon the sun god, or he could become the sun god, and shoot one giant ray of sun at a player and instantly kill them. Kind of like how in Smash Bros. When you collect enough of those like shard pieces, you get like that laser that one shots. Yeah. Okay, I know, chess is not an indie game, it's been around for a long time. But the chess I'm specifically talking about is chess.com, so maybe it counts, but really, no. The queen would be able to hop around and flip and hit others and use multiversal travel that's a reference to 5D multiversal time travel chess, which you should never play unless you want to damage your brain. The special moves could summon a knight or a bishop, and the knight could like run across the stage or something. The costumes would just be different colors of chess pieces like white, black, gray, red, green, blue, pink. Pink would be weird. Final attack will place it like overlay a chessboard over the screen, that has a quick game of chess play, and if players like hit the pieces, they take damage. Finally, our last one of the first update, who is absolutely not an indie game character, but all my friends were like, hey, you should add Jake from Subway Surfers. And I'm like, oh, okay, so we're adding him. Jake from Subway Surfers. He could use his jump boots or hoverboard to attack in a special move, and his final move would literally just summon a subway train. Yeah. Okay, this video took way longer than I expected. Like, you don't even know how long. If you really want a part 2, let's get to 100 likes, even though I've already started a part 2, you know, motivation to like really get it done. There is a Google form in the description that's, if you ever want to actually help me make a game exactly like this, yeah, just check down below. Thank you so much for watching if you're still here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.